In this video, I will be building a massive PowerMiners-themed cave battle, including massive rock monsters, custom vehicles, some shiny crystals, and much more. To get everybody on the same page, PowerMiners was a LEGO theme in which professional miners were sent to investigate mysterious earthquakes. Instead, they ended up butting heads with the rock monsters. With that little recap done, let's jump right into the build. To begin with this massive cave, I laid down 2 gray base plates, then adding in a black border just around the front of the build. To help me understand how much area I have to work with, I started with one of the main vocal points, the lava lake. Adding in white bricks underneath will help this area be more vibrant. I also managed to work in some LEDs and some wires, and combining everything with the flicker effects board will give the lava a nice crackle, just like in real life. Lastly, to finish up the lava lake, I layered on some translucent red pieces. This will allow for the LEDs underneath to shine through. With that section complete, I laid down a bunch of filler plates on the rest of the build. Hey, it looks like there's some power crystals in the middle of the lava lake. Thankfully there's a miner nearby to collect them. That did not go as planned. Well, moving swiftly onwards, I grabbed my 16x16 Technic brick plates, attaching a bunch of 2x4 bricks underneath. Adding these into the build will help give me some elevation in the cave. Placing these smaller sections of bricks and plates will level everything out and create a smoother descent. I've spent the next little bit of time working on some rocks, as this is a cave, so we'll probably need some of them. I'm going to be using a similar snot panel technique that I've used in other builds. This not only speeds up the entire build process, but also allows me to add in more detail, like these trans neon green crystals. With the cave wall sections complete, I can now go ahead and pop them into place. I was even able to add in some lights. Let's see if the miners are more successful this time. They've even got fancy new equipment. Wow, yet another unsuccessful mining attempt? I'm not so sure about these quote-unquote professionals. While the miners regroup, I went ahead and started working on some of the terrain. I'm trying to make this area as smooth as possible while also creating a rocky texture. Now I'm going to be building some more crystals, so I'll grab some blue parts. Whoops, not this guy. By using a mixture of slopes, I made sure the crystal was visible from above ground. This looks great, let's add it to the build. To make this crystal stand out even more, I added some light bluish gray pieces around it. This will contrast nicely with the otherwise dark bluish gray cave. Ah good, it looks like Doc has recovered fully from earlier. Let's see if he's up to the task. Okay, clearly this approach isn't working. I think it's time for an upgrade. So I dusted off my collection of instruction booklets, found some for power miners. Let's jump right in with the crystal sweeper. So I attached the cockpit, added on this squeaky mud flap, found this awesome motorcycle, and attached this massive crane on the back. The claw digger is up next. It's a pretty goofy looking vehicle, but I attached the 2 claws. Next I popped on the first wheel, followed by the rim, and repeated that 3 more times. Even with the claw digger complete, I think the miners could use some more help. Just like that, the stone chopper is done. Now this is an upgrade. Let's get back to the cave because those rock monsters don't stand a chance. This area over here is pretty empty. Let's get a massive rock wall going. I made sure to include some blue and red power crystals. Also, I wanted to add a ledge where you can watch the sunset from. I really wonder what these guys are doing. We're in a cave. Wait, are they getting paid per hour? Am I the only one around here actually working? Anyways, after that shocking discovery, I finished the wall and added it to the build. While I'm here, I might as well make another one. And that's 2 of them down, let's add this one to the build as well. I made sure to add some different color rock crystals this time, like this pink one. It appears we have an issue. These rocks are so high on the wall that the miners can't reach them. Don't worry, they might have a thing or 2 up their sleeve. Let's equip them with brand new climbing harnesses. Perfect, that did the trick. The miners can now climb up and collect the crystals. Before we move on, let's finish up this area. With our newly equipped climbing gear, the miners can reach higher areas in the cave. Is this the first successful mining mission? Nah, never mind. It appears our miner forgot his tools. To deliver equipment and miners to higher locations, let's build a gondola. Attaching the rope from the lower point to the high point, then I mounted the gondola itself. And lo and behold, it actually works. Just like this, the gondola is easily able to go up and down. We can now successfully resupply the stranded miner. I actually think that's the first successful mission the miners have pulled off all day. I think the tides are turning. With this newly found momentum, I wanted to start on one of the last large areas of the build, a massive cave ceiling. After all, it was a bit too bright in here for a cave. I wanted to make sure to add giant spikes hanging down from the roof. The ceiling kind of reminds me of a moon base. Maybe in the 4th wave of power miners they go out to space. To hold up this massive ceiling, I'm going to need some support beams because it's pretty heavy, so I started working on those right away. I'm using a similar technique I did on the other rock walls, but I'm just making these more sturdy. With the first support beam finished, we can add it to the build. Before I start working on more of them, I think the rock monsters could use a little help. Actually, after the miners' recent performance, the rock monsters need a lot of help, so I built the biggest monster there is, the Crystal King. Okay, the Crystal King might be a bit too strong for our miners to handle. While I think of something to level the playing field, I might as well finish off the remaining sections of the cave floor, along with adding in another support pillar in the left corner. While building, I think I got an idea. We just saw the normal vehicles the miners use are no match against the Crystal King. If we look at all the sets LEGO has made, each piece of miner equipment is numbered, starting at 1 going all the way up to 16. However, there is one that LEGO skipped over, the missing 13 vehicle. Since it was never made, I'm going to be trying to make my own version in the hopes that it's strong enough to handle the bigger rock monsters. I don't have any line parts, so I started designing the 13 vehicle on Studio, a program that allows you to build with digital bricks. This was quite the learning curve, but eventually I got the hang of it, and after ordering all the parts I needed, I can build it in real life. I started with the front of the vehicle, including space for a driver to sit, and a door around the back to get in. Next, I attached both of the front wheels. I also made a massive bumper to protect the front of the vehicle. After that, I attached the roof, along with 3 massive lights. With the front end complete, let's move on to the rear. Here's a missile launcher with a targeting system. Let's pop that into place. Next, I attached both doors for the cargo space in the back. Just like that, it's time to attach both sections. And here it is, the completed miner number 13 vehicle. I have called it the missile truck. It features 8 missile tubes ready for launch. It's also got massive treads and many lights to help light up the caves. And even some extra ammo, just in case. I think it's time to take this bad boy for a spin. Look, a fellow miner's in danger. Let's see what this thing can do. Take that sucker out. That was epic. Just before we get onto the final battle, let's properly equip the miners. Let's give this guy a pickaxe. Next, handing him some dynamite. This guy a hot dog. And the one on the end? Wait, a hot dog? Never mind. And lastly, this miner has a laptop. Now I think we're ready for the final showdown. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this battle, the rock monsters or the miners. And lastly, thanks for watching.